get what the whole point is of healing your inner child, it is this. We heal our inner child for the following reason. Normally we are born and are raised, have nurturing that meets our needs and helps us to be able to thrive in adulthood. But unfortunately, with traumatized families, which are sometimes the most loving and caring parents, but unfortunately they won't be able to do that, and we will be in some ways traumatized. That means, and of course there's several degrees, that means that we will be living in fear, surviving, instead of out of love, thriving. And living out of love means that you have a basic self-confidence, the sense of self, the healthy ego that guides you and navigates you through life in a healthy, critical way, and with self-compassion, which is very nice to navigate in that way, and to maneuver through life that way. Then you can meet your needs and your dreams, and you can do this and you can do that, and of course you will be triggered, but you can handle everything because you have basic self-love, and you have basic software, as I heard Michael Unbroken from them, our guest, say in one of his posts. I love that metaphor. Your software is good and you navigate easily through life. Now, when we're traumatized, you can have another aspect of going through life with love instead of fear, is that you generally trust people, as in you have your basic mistrust, but you are able to trust people when necessary, to let them in, to have safe relationships, meaningful relationships, to navigate through life easily, to be able to depend on people. That's very important, to be able to ask for help and to receive help. So it goes both ways. We need a healthy interdependence. We cannot do it all by ourselves. Now, when we live through fear, we unfortunately won't have this sense of self. Unfortunately, that hasn't been able to develop, so we will not have that self-compassion that helps us navigate through life easily. We will have an inner critic only the inner critic. Normally, with a sense of self, we have the inner critic and that is critical, but then we have the compassionate side, and it helps us in a nice way to guide us through. But when we only have the inner critic and not a compassionate side, everything is very harsh. Everything feels as if we're doing everything wrong, or not good enough, or we feel ashamed, and that is basically being in war with yourself. And then the other part is the outer critic, the basically mistrusting the world. That's the other part of childhood trauma. And with mistrusting the world, I mean this. I mean that you have probably because your parents gave you the impression somehow that their needs were more important than yours, / your needs will not be met. You will project that onto other innocent people in your daily life. So what we want to do when we go from surviving to thriving is basically, we need to correct the view of the world. The view of the world as a child was, others are not safe, I'm not good enough. Well, we need to understand that perhaps your parent wasn't safe. If your parent gives you the silent treatment, if your parent compares you to other people, if your parent tells you when you're anxious basically to grow up or whatever, that is shaming, that is abandoning the child. Then the child will go abandoning themselves. They won't be able to be compassionate towards themselves, so they will become ashamed. So what we need to do is that you understand that perhaps your parent was unsafe, but that doesn't mean that everyone in the world, innocent others, are unsafe. Yes, that means that that means that you need to experiment and see what happens if you will just show yourself how you are and see that perhaps people can be trusted. It is important to not abandon ourselves. That means that's what I was talking about. We need to comfort ourselves and not run to others for comfort. We need to be kind to ourselves. Self-abandonment is being critical toward ourselves. We need to be compassionate. We have our healthy adult, most of us have, and our unhealthy part. We need our healthy part that is going to get us through it. Self-mothering, fathering.